What up, homies? It's your boy Stev. So check it out. We are big fans of M. Night up in here, okay? The Village, The Sixth Sense, Signs. I love them all. Saw them all in theaters, opening night. Huge fans, right? And then he takes a little bit of a dip in the middle. But I've never seen a filmmaker make a more impressive comeback than he did when he makes first The Visit, which was a solid horror flick, and then Split, which was spectacular, if you ask me. It's like, oh, he's back, right? And then he finishes off the trilogy with Glass. I've never wanted a movie more. Like, I was so excited to see how that story concluded. So this week, me and Ash, we're talking the Unbreakable Trilogy. Unbreakable, Split, Glass. Enjoy. Ashley, how much do you like M. Night Shyamalan?
Oh, I actually really enjoy them.
Ooh, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, fuck. I don't know.
Is it one of these three?
No.
Oh. We're talking the Unbreakable Trilogy.
I really like a lot of his. I know everybody loves Hereditary. I gotta watch it again.
That wasn't him. That was Ari Aster.
Oh, perfect. That's good. I'll look up his movies and I'll let you know. I'll do it right now while we're talking.
The Sixth Sense is really good. That was like one of his first. A lot of people...
I haven't seen it since I was young.
Okay.
I don't remember nothing.
Really?
I remember nothing of the movie.
It's pretty good.
Oh, is it Signs too?
Science is awesome. You don't like Science?
I gotta watch those again, I guess.
I really like The Village. A lot of people...
I don't mind The Village.
Here's the thing. When The Village came out, I went and saw it in theaters opening night, and I loved it. And every one of my friends was like, I'm never listening to your opinion on movies again because that movie sucked so much. But now when I talk to my friends about movies, like randomly, like, you know what's a good movie? The Village. It's like, no, fuck you guys. No, you made fun of me for fucking decades.
I got them all here. Sorry. Okay. The Village at first, I wasn't a fan. Mm-hmm. I watched it recently. Man, that twist gets you.
It's a good twist.
Wow.
And the acting's amazing, actually.
So yeah, I guess there's nothing really that The Happening is okay. She's all that. I don't know what that is. Yeah, so we talked about this. The Visit, that's with the grandma.
Yeah.
Old, I didn't really like Old very much. That was the beach.
The beach where like they get old over the course of like a day.
Because he used the same kid as Hereditary though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I thought they were connected maybe. But so yeah, I guess Split might be one of my favorite then.
Hey, that's good. Okay.
He doesn't really have much.
So, I'm gonna butcher this, but I'm pretty sure the official title for this trilogy is the East Rail 177 trilogy, because that's the train that
derailed.
That derailed, and then you spoilers technically, which you later learned that the one character's father was also on that train. So it kind of, they tie it all together, kind of thing. Before we get into spoilers and we go to each film, Ashley, what did you think of the trilogy as a whole? And what would you say your rankings are of said trilogy?
I definitely think Unbreakable should have been its own movie. Split should have been its own movie. And Glass should have never been made.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was really... Excuse me, I'm sorry. He was really trying really hard to connect them. I thought of what a weird way to connect them, that his dad was there.
Yeah, I hated that. I actually don't like that at all. That's the one thing that drives me fucking crazy about the trilogy. But
I understand the idea of you have to pit the unbeatable with the unbeatable.
Yeah. Because
there's no one else that can beat him other than the green cape.
Yeah.
I forget what his name is.
The Overseer, which is really a fucking cool name.
The Green Overseer, whatever the hell. So it's like, okay, I guess, but... And I can see why the dad being relevant, because then the personalities would have never happened.
Yeah.
So the only way we can explain that is by that documentary.
Yeah, which we'll talk to. So we'll talk about a little more with Split. Split is very much based off of a documentary
Yeah.
called is it the 24 Faces of Billy Mulligan?
Billy Milligan.
Yeah, or maybe not. Sorry, not based off the documentary, but based off of the real life figure that the documentary is based off of.
But it's like they say, like, it's only because you've had a terrible life, and that's why all of these personalities are trying to protect the house, which in his case is Billy, in Split's case is Kevin.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not Kevin.
It's Kevin. You're right.
It is Kevin. What's the name that she says?
Kevin Wendell Crumb.
It is Kevin. So I got confused because of the dad's name. That was the one that was on the train. Anyways.
It's Clarence, I believe.
Clarence, that's exactly what it is. So it's like, and it's so sad to think like all of those personalities were only made because of the horrible upbringing he had.
Yeah.
And if that never happened, then, So, I mean,
and it is true.
I can see why the dad was brought in. But I don't think glass should have been a thing. I really don't.
I agree. I don't like that twist that the dad was on the train. I actually like the fact that they're not connected.
Yeah.
And the horde is just a monster. Like, not a monster. Like, that's not, but you know what I mean? He's like a big bad, like a thug, not a heavy, we'll say, for the overseer to defeat.
Yeah.
And like this idea that like for every good, like force of good, there's got to be a force of evil. You know what I mean? And I do like that. So apparently when he wrote Unbreakable, the character of the Horde was the villain originally in Unbreakable.
Okay.
When he wrote the original script
years ago.
Yeah. So everything that was in Split was originally going to be in Unbreakable. But the problem was it was just too long. And it was too long, and it's like it was impossible to get the entire story across without it being like 5 hours long. So he decided to trim everything that wasn't the first act and that's what Unbreakable is. So like that, everything that's in Unbreakable is originally just going to be the first like half an hour, 40 minutes.
Really though, Unbreakable wasn't that exciting of a movie.
It's very slow, and which
like,
I noticed
there's
this
no
time.
like, what is the purpose of the movie?
Yeah, it's really slow until the very end, where it becomes kind of a horror movie, weirdly, where like he goes into the house and like all the people are tied up, and you're like, oh shit, this is kind of spoilers, but not really. But it like kind of becomes a horror movie at the end. Whereas I like Split because it's like a full blown, like from beginning to finish. It's I want to say it's kind of a monster movie. Definitely. It's like, it's really interesting. I don't know. And then
I kind of wish I didn't remember what happened, because watching that for the first time, all the different personalities, I think that'd be kind of funny.
Oh yeah. He's so good. Like James McAvoy.
Whoa.
Like,
he didn't even really win anything for it.
No, which he should have. Like, even like he does really well in Split. He does even better in Glass. If there's one reason for Glass to exist, it's for his performance, because he's fucking amazing in both of those movies.
I know. I would totally I would give him any award, but
yeah.
But we've seen time and time again, I'm not getting political, but we've seen time and time again where I go, how did that person win over this person?
No, it's true.
Over the years.
Whereas he fucking deserves all the awards. He fucking crushed it. And something maybe we should say right off the bat, like when we say like he's the villain, he's the monster, whatever. I'm fully aware that there are people in the world that have this like psychological disorder. I'm not saying they're evil or they're monsters.
No, him as a beast is...
The beast is a fucking... a foe. He's like... That's what I think we should get that across right off the bat. Like, that's what we're saying. It's like he's a definite... Like, the beast is such a cool villain.
Yeah.
And then the idea that there's like these personalities that are kind of starting a cult to like wake them up. I'm like, this is so fucking cool. It's such a cool idea.
Yeah. And the way he explains it, how they're like sitting in a room on chairs.
Yeah.
What a weird idea. And then they all just want to come to the light. And it's like they're all fighting over each other. It's like, what a weird image of all these people in your head. One of them is diabetic.
Yeah.
One of them knows Spanish. One of them, it's like, what are you talking about?
No, I agree.
It's wild.
I think it's super interesting too. I think it's yeah, and like this idea that like no, there's this monster that lurks in the shadows behind them, and like they know he's there, but they kind of and I love this idea that Barry had the light since Kevin because we're really talking about a lot about Split right now, which we should, but like
well, there's something to talk about Glass
it's
or
true,
about
true.
Unbreakable.
We'll get to that. But like Dennis was the first one, right? The very first personality.
I'm not sure.
I believe he says that Dennis was created to like put Kevin to sleep when the mom was abusing him.
I'm not sure.
And like so like Dennis really protected him.
That's so sad.
And like yeah, no, I Dennis is such an interesting character. We'll talk a little bit about him when we get to it, but I'm more thinking like, how did Barry get the light? So Barry's the one that's like
is the one that's a fashionista.
Yeah, and they are the one that's in control normally, but the whole plot of the movie is the kid gets control, Hedwig.
Yeah, and he is the one who's like, if I let the beast out, they will no longer make fun of me anymore.
Yeah, because it's like almost so there are three personalities that the other personalities shun. There's the kid because he's a kid.
The mother or the woman.
Patricia because of her like religious beliefs.
And then isn't it Dennis?
Dennis because he likes to watch young girls dance naked, which is it's messed up, but it's like one of those things. I don't know. He's such an interesting character because he's like Dennis seems like a genuinely good person. He's just like, got this one thing where it's like, that's dicey, bro.
It's like he's like talking to the girl and he's like the voice of reason. Right. Where she was like, Dennis, I really need this, and he's like, why? And she's like, I really need your help. And it's funny that like that's the one that she's trying to talk to.
100, yeah.
And then she finally gets a hold of Kevin, and Kevin's the one that's like, please shoot me, just shoot me.
That's such a great scene. Yeah. It's like super fucking sad. Anything that involves Kevin in any of these movies is the saddest thing I've ever seen. Because it's like, talk about such a complex villain, like somebody who like is in 1 second a fucking invincible monster.
Huge when he does scary. That. Those traps and stuff. Like,
oh shit. And like the black eyes, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then Kevin comes out and he's so like sad and
he's
like,
did I hurt you? And she was like, yes. He's like, I am so sorry. He's like, just shoot me, please. Like the gun's here, the bullets are here. Just
kill me.
And it's just like, me, please. Oh. It's like, holy fuck.
But yeah, so going back to, so the Horde was supposed to be in Unbreakable. I remember when Unbreakable came out, I want to say it was either a commentary or it was some sort of interview that he did, but he said, he's like, actually, they're like, well, did you ever do a sequel to Unbreakable? And he's like, actually, I had this big villain that was going to be in Unbreakable, but he couldn't fit. So I'm going to make a sequel one day or make it its own movie one day. Because he's like, I really like the villain. I think he's a cool villain. So then I had a buddy who went and saw Split. Okay. And then me and him were talking afterwards, and he's like, dude, the twist at the end of this movie, the reveal is fucking amazing. And I'm like, bro, please tell me this is a secret sequel to Unbreakable. And he looked at me like, I swear.
Think that was...
it was all because of the title. Unbreakable Split and like the mirror like poster.
Okay.
Because like he's looking, it's like it just looked the same. I'm like, tell me this is the villain that he wanted to write for Unbreakable. And my buddy was like, oh, bro, who told you? And I was like, like I called it. And then when I went and saw it in theaters, I remember like it shows Bruce Willis, credits roll. Oh fuck, we're totally, but I'm not really, it's not really a spoiler because we know that Glass exists. But anyway, the credits roll, and I remember it was like full theater. Me and like one other person were like, fuck yeah. And
nobody else knew what
nobody else. From. Everyone was like, why the fuck is Bruce Willis in this movie?
Especially when he's like, his name is Mr. Glass. And it's like,
it's like,
okay. So anticlimactic. I only saw Unbreakable because it played, I remember this, on my little rollaway TV in high school.
Oh, yeah.
In grade 9. And I remember my girl Keegan was with me. I remember sitting in that classroom. So it's kind of funny that I don't even know if I would have ever seen it if it wasn't for
Yeah.
that. And it was only because the teacher liked superheroes.
Oh, it's a good, okay. Would you say it's a good superhero movie?
No, how is it a superhero
But
movie?
it totally is a superhero movie. It's like, what if like Superman doesn't know he's Superman? You know what I mean? I think it's a fascinating movie. All right, fuck it. Rank the movies, actually.
No, I definitely don't think it's a superhero movie. Remind me in the section of Split with the son in the comic book store going to the villain section.
That's Glass.
That is Glass.
Okay.
You're right. That's
Well,
Glass.
I'll make sure.
We'll get there eventually.
All right.
So it definitely goes. 2 is amazing.
Yes.
I love Split. I have nothing bad really to say about Split.
It's pretty
fucking solid.
right. Like,
It's a pretty solid movie.
is it crazy to say it? It's almost perfect. Like
It's a pretty solid movie.
like it's the writing is a little like okay. Like the dialogue is a little okay.
Imagine reading that as like an actor, like
And be like, oh, like
what is oh, by the way, it's kind of funny. If you guys watch Amazon Prime, by the way, all 3 of these movies are on totally different like streaming networks. First off, I fucking hate that.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
Unbreakable was on Disney.
And then Split was on Netflix. Oh no, it wasn't.
No,
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, no. Okay.
It was on Amazon because what I'm going to say now is hilarious.
Okay.
On Amazon Prime, I don't know if anybody watches Amazon Prime, but if you watch your movie and you like pause it, you can see all the actors on the left side.
Yeah.
But if you see James, it has all of his characters, but it's his face every time. It's pretty funny. So it's like Barry, Patricia, Dennis, and it's just a picture of him. Like, you could have just put him and then put all the names beside him. Like, no. It's pretty funny. So
but yeah, no, Split's tight. Split
is pretty good.
It's a good fucking movie.
I am not the only. We will get there. Okay, I have one disagreement with the movie, but it's near the end. We'll
talk about it.
I feel like Unbreakable is like, excuse me, partially useless. I don't think there really is a purpose of the movie.
Oh, I like the movie a lot. But
I don't mind the movie, but there's no climax. There's nothing big that happens. There's nothing like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's true.
And then Glass is just completely. I don't even know what the fuck they were thinking with Glass.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Okay.
I don't get her profession. What the fuck are they talking about? That can't be a profession.
Yeah.
Come on. And then they did the laser thing on him, and I'm like, what did it change?
It didn't change anything. That's spoilers. We'll talk about it, but
Stupid.
we are in complete agreement. Split is number 1.
Okay.
Unbreakable, I really like as a movie. I think the premise of the movie is really interesting, and I like a movie about comic books. I'm a big fan of comic books,
Okay.
so I think Bruce Willis is amazing in it. I think Samuel Jackson's fucking amazing in it. Robin Wright Penn's so good. Although I think she was Robin Wright at this point. Anyway, even the kid was awesome.
Yeah, that was the same kid, eh?
Yeah, which is awesome.
I'm asking. I wasn't telling you.
It
I'm
was,
asking.
yeah. So they got all the same actors and
Yeah,
actresses.
that was kind of funny. I saw the kid, and I was like, yet look how old he looks. Oh no, there was a big difference compared to Unbreakable and Mirror and Glass. I'm
like 20
thinking
years,
of
yeah.
the same girl from Split and Glass.
Yeah.
She looks the exact same.
It's supposed to take place 3 weeks after, which I read and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. It should be at least a year or 2. But I think he's got the scars still on his shoulder and chest from the shotgun wounds.
I didn't even think of that.
So it's supposed to take place like right after. But like, I think it should take place.
She should have escaped. And then she might have said something about a monster, and that's why Bruce was like, I gotta find him.
Yeah.
But how would he have known where to look?
Okay, because they say in the movie, so the original attack with the 3 girls in Split took place at like one place, and then
Where he used to work.
yeah, and then there was another attack that they say. I'm pretty sure they say there was another attack that was not shown, and then the third one was the cheerleaders being kidnapped. Maybe not though, because I want to say Split ends. There was a deleted ending where Split. I know. But like, I'm just saying because where it shows him on top of a building, and he's overlooking a school that's full of a bus full of cheerleaders. So it's like it kind of implies that he's going to kidnap them next. But like, that jump would have made sense. But then they instead replaced that ending with it's the exact same scene, but it's just him looking in the mirror. You know, at the very end, when he's looking in the mirror. I guess this is spoilers, technically, but not really. He's looking in the mirror, but it's like all of his personalities talking. They did that instead. Whereas, like in the original ending, it was him on top of a building looking at a school, and they were all talking. Okay. It's the exact same lines, the exact same scene. It's just, but I want to say, because he says they triangulate. It's like all of these three places. He's like, we've been looking in this area. It's like, but what if it's just really easy to get to from where he lives? So it's like, if you take a train from a particular place, he could be over here. And that's why he starts doing patrols over in that area. Okay. And then that's when he runs into him.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I guess that makes sense where it's like, oh, he's unbeatable. But they wouldn't have known he was unbeatable.
Yeah.
Because the police were never there.
But I guess if she said, though,
you're going to trust,
and that's where it gets,
a 14-year-old girl.
It's true.
Who's scared.
But he's also just beating up petty criminals. So it could just be possible that he's just looking for just a dude that's kidnapping girls. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's like the Beast. And then when he fights the Beast, it's like, oh, what the fuck is this shit? Like,
I'm trying to think. I just watched it. So I'm wondering if at any point that the son says, like, he's unbeatable.
I don't remember either.
But I'm trying to think if there was a sentence there if the dad would have expected that to happen. Because the girl's like, where is he? And he pointed to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you look at the ceiling? But it shows you that he knew, but why wouldn't the girl see it on the ceiling? Which means he knew what he was going after.
Okay, hold up. Check this out. When he touches somebody, because again, kind of a spoiler, but not really. He has the power where he can see things. Does he see like all of their sins, or is it just random ones? Because he does touch him, and then he sees the scene where Hedwig is talking to all the cheerleaders. Would he see everything that this guy's ever done that's bad? Because that could have alarmed him. Like,
that wasn't the scene with the cheerleaders he saw, though.
Oh, what did he see? Maybe it was something else.
He saw the 4 cheerleaders in chairs dead, didn't he? And Hedwig was sitting on the floor talking to them.
Yeah.
So
were they dead? Oh, okay. Yeah, you're probably right.
Why would they be sitting in chairs? Like, they were all slumped and all, like...
Yeah, you're probably right.
And he was just sitting on the floor, like, talking. But it's like, why wouldn't they... I don't know. See, I think they were all dead. They might not have been.
Yeah.
So, we're getting back into... We really gotta, like, talk.
All right, we're fucking moving.
Okay, remind me about why she touched his hand at the end of the movie.
Yes.
Because I don't understand that scene.
We'll talk about it. Okay.
So, we're getting into really... Yeah, and it sucks because... Excuse me, I'm sorry, but Unbreakable is so boring compared to the other two that I feel like we're just gonna botch Unbreakable.
All right, we're moving on to Unbreakable.
Yeah, Unbreakable up next.
Unbreakable. Ashley, talk about this very entertaining movie.
What would you like to hear?
Okay, actually, let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, let's talk about Bruce Willis, first of all.
Okay.
In both this and Glass. Do you think he's good in the movies?
Yeah, I love Bruce Willis. I think this is one of the most memorable parts that he's played.
Right? He's very, it's very just subdued. He's charming, but he's not, turning it to 12. You see what I'm saying? He's just
Yeah. There are definitely more movies he's been in that is more... more memorable.
Yeah.
But I remember he is in these movies.
Like, he reminds me a lot of like Butch from Pulp Fiction.
That is a great character reference.
Right? He's just very like kind of sad, kind of like,
Yeah.
but he's very tough for somebody who's not very big. He's not like a big guy. He kind of, when you hear like, oh yeah, no, he can lift 500 pounds, you're like, oh, it kind of makes sense to me. I don't know. He just seems like a tough guy, even though he's trying not to be a tough guy.
By the way, I feel like people crush that all the time.
Oh, that's pretty fucking heavy, actually.
You think so? What about the guy lifting weights at the gym? See, we're fucking skipping again to Glass, but the son is like looking at the guy.
That guy's fucking.
I feel like he has 500 pounds.
Yeah, that's true, but yeah, that's a good point. But Bruce Willis is also not a fucking bodybuilder in the movie.
I guess.
So, I think the opening of Unbreakable is fucking so cringeworthy when he's talking to that girl.
Oh my god.
It's like, I can't, it's so hard to watch. It's like, dude, you are fucking crashing and burning. I expected the little girl to be like, bro, like, no.
You mean on the train?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you talk about crashing and burning. It is so hard to watch.
Yeah,
like,
and she's like, I'm gonna go sit over here. And
it's like, oh no. Yeah, so that's horrific. And then it's followed by a really, really cool scene, actually. When I say cool, I mean like just interestingly filmed. When he wakes up, so after the train derails, he wakes up, and then there's like the person in the foreground.
Yeah.
And then, like, as the doctor's kind of telling him, like, oh, yeah, you're the only survivor. Like, you could see the blood slowly. I'm like, this is so fucking cool. You can tell it's a young director who's like, I got the money. I'm going to do fucking the weirdest shit. And he's just trying anything. But I think it kind of works weirdly.
Yeah.
For a movie.
This movie is so dark.
It's, yeah.
And I've realized now that's like his thing. Every movie he really does, it's so dark.
It's true.
The Village is so dark. Everything, right?
Yeah, it's just, but I think it's very well filmed, and I like the music. I like all the actors. Like I said, I think Robin Wright is really fucking good in this movie. So she would go on to play Claire Underwood in House of Cards, and she's amazing in that too. Very different characters.
I never watched it.
Oh, it's very good.
I'm not a fan of politics.
Oh yeah, I see.
So I just.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I gotta watch it. The Crown, I really wanted to watch, but it's all politics.
I find The Crown actually isn't very much about it is, but like, there's very much a difference between the Queen and like the Prime Minister. You know what I mean? So like, she does have to meet with the Prime Minister and like they have meetings and shit, but it's more about like family dynamics and stuff like that. But,
okay.
Whereas House of Cards is 100% about
House
politics.
of Cards. You're up against anybody can take your job, while The Crown. You literally have to die.
100%. So yeah.
It's like, just don't die and you got the job, bro. Like, she's like, okay. Miss 101.
Yeah, really though. And then, so I think Robin Wright's very, very good in this movie. So much so that, because I watched all 3 movies in one sitting. I was just like, all right, I'm going to watch them. I'm going to have some drinks. Going to watch them. I missed her in the third one. I was like, I really liked her in the first one. In the third one, I guess she just died off. I don't think they really explained it.
Yeah, they did.
They do?
She got cancer. She was gone 5 years.
Oh, okay. I missed that for some reason. But
there was one scene specifically. Hold on. It was the doctor's like, you made your dad out to be a superhero, and it's because you needed him to be in order to
yes, you are correct. Actually,
settle with your mom. And then she even says what kind of cancer, and I don't remember.
Yeah, that was the scene where she like says that he came in. He's like, my dad's senile, and like that. Yeah. Okay. And don't get me wrong, the third one has a lot of like characters, so it's like easy to get rid of one. But like, I just find that she was such a like warm spot in the first movie that like, I don't know. Although like there's another weird scene, like now that we're in spoiler territory, at the very end of the movie, because the whole movie they like sleep apart. There's one scene where like she wakes up and he's carrying her to his room like a caveman. He's like, no, you're in my room now. But then he like lays her down and she has this look on her face like, oh yeah, we're going to Bangtown. And then he like cuddles, and he's like, I had a bad dream. And she's like, like, I think it's so funny. I think it's so funny. Like, every time I see it, I'm like, oh, she's ready. She's
Well, they went on a date and everything and stuff.
That's true. That's a good point. So this movie has a lot to do with this trilogy has a lot to do with this, and but this movie 100% started it. So first of all, there's a lot of like comic book themes. So the first one is the main characters have names that are the same letter, first and last names. So David Dunn and then Casey Cook in Split.
I didn't even know that.
So like that's a famous thing. I think Clark Kent doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. Peter Parker, okay. Matt Murdock. That's like a big comic book thing, right? Another thing is color schemes.
Hulk Hogan.
No.
Just
Bruce Banner, though.
I'm just bugging you. You were like, no.
Close. See, I like where your head's at. But then color schemes. So anything involving Bruce Willis's character is green. Anything involving Samuel Jackson's character is purple. Anything involving James McAvoy's character is orange. And I'm like, it's like orange or yellow. I fucking think that's awesome.
Okay.
You're like, even to the point where like in the third one, their respective like secondary characters are all wearing their colors.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I didn't even notice that.
And even to the point where, which apparently it's a reference to Unbreakable, but it's like, okay, at the very end of Split, so the whole thing, she has to like keep taking layers off, but she has like a shitload of layers. Well, her very last shirt, which is the one that like survives, it's like when he sees the shirt, he also sees like the scars, but her last shirt's green.
Yeah. So
it's supposed to be like a reference to like David Dunn being invincible and like she's wearing a green shirt. I don't know, apparently.
All right, now you sound like a Swiftie. All the fucking Easter eggs.
Another thing I gotta throw out there too, though. Sorry, off topic a little bit. So a lot of this movie has to do with him asking people if he's been sick before.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many times you've been sick in the last year, right?
No, see, I don't know.
Like, I remember very distinctly the last time I was sick. I know I have a pretty good immunity. So I would know if I had never been sick before. Yeah. I would just know that. I'd be like, oh yeah, I've never, like, vomit free since 93, you know what I'm saying? Like
that was a good How I Met Your Mother quote. Yeah, and then he's like, vomit free since whatever.
2007 doesn't sound right.
Vomit free since 93. I love that. Whenever he meets Tracy in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I remember getting very ill from our last vacation last March.
Yeah. February. Was it that?
I don't remember.
Maybe it was March. Sorry.
And then I remember just getting sick, obviously, on Sunday.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I know.
I really don't remember being sick anytime in the middle, though. So it's kind of nice clarification. But then again, if I ask you if I was sick, what the fuck are you going to say?
Yeah. Like if I went up to my wife, first of all, she would know 100%. She'd be like, yeah, you don't get sick. She would just know. Yeah. There'd be no like, I don't know, let me think about it. Like, I've definitely been sick. I just don't know when. Never been sick is pretty fucking like, no, you've never been sick. I know I've never been sick.
Never come up.
And that's it. Never once has he said like, I got a pretty fucking strong immunity. Like, he must go to the doctor. And the doctor must be like, dude, you're tip top, bro. Like.
Yeah, like for me to just, because I know we don't get headaches.
Yeah.
All the girls, we don't get cramps. I know none of us, we're not like that. And I know that. So for you to not get sick, you would think I would remember that.
It's definitely for the audience's sake.
Yeah.
That
to
conversation.
Make it dramatic, to show how dramatic it is.
But even him going to the boss or the boss's secretary or assistant and being like, hey, how many times have I called in sick? Like, you fucking should know how many times you've called in sick.
Yeah.
Especially when it's 0.
Yeah.
If it's I'm pretty sure, if it's between 2 and 5, it's I don't know. But if it's 0, I fucking know for a fact.
I was 0 until a few days ago, and I remembered that.
You know what's funny? I'm 0 as well. Like, this job that I have right now, I've had it for probably 5 or so years and never called in sick. And somebody that I worked with called it out when I was working I went to like head office recently, and she was like, I don't think you've ever called in sick. And I was like, interesting. Somebody else.
Well, it's kind of fucking easy when you're sitting on a computer, no offense.
Hey, listen, at home, I know it's exactly what I said. I had COVID and I still went to work.
I could have sat at home with a sore throat all day. It's because I have to talk to people all day.
It's true.
I can't go to my job and be like, hey, what do you want to drink? Like, I can't do that exactly.
It's like you could,
I'm going to go deliver your food too. Like, I'm a server, but I can't do that.
Yeah, I hear
If I could sit at home in my comfy pajamas with some tea and order skip the dishes, I wouldn't call in.
No, it's true. And it's true. Like, I do work from home. I've worked at home for the last 3 years. But even before that, like, there was 2 years where I worked in the plant. I didn't call in sick.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it's mainly like, if I was sick, it was because I drank way too much the night before. And I'm like, and it's like, I shouldn't be calling in sick for that. Like,
yeah.
So, but I do work through sickness these days where it's like, I work from home. I'm going to be sitting in bed anyway. There's, I think, one time where I was like, I should fucking go lay down. But I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to suffer through it. But
wow.
There's maybe one time. Oh, I'm sorry. I wrote this last note when I was very intoxicated, so I don't know what it means. I never
you text like dad.
Yeah. I never realized how much I don't like that ending until right now. I don't remember what it was about the ending that I don't like.
I don't even remember what the ending really is.
Oh. Yeah. No, I do remember actually. Okay. So Unbreakable comes out like 2002 or something, I believe. It's like 2001, 2002, I want to say. And I feel like the studio was like, no, we need some words at the end to say, this guy told the police and this guy went to jail. I just don't like it. I like the fact that he walks away and it's just like, that's the end of it. I kind of like it. And it works really well with Glass. I think it just, I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's weird to have those words at the end.
Yeah,
it's almost too rappy.
That.
It's like,
I remember that because he sold out Mr. Glass or whatever to the police and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And now he's
found his office.
Right. Okay. So what do you think of the twist at the end where he like has killed hundreds of people?
Yeah. That's kind of fucking sad.
It's crazy. Like
just to find
one person.
And
then it turns out to be two. What are the chances? How stupid.
He didn't know it was two.
That's true. It's a coincidence.
But he's
a stupid coincidence.
He's so demented, like, that you believe in superheroes that much.
Yeah.
Like, ew. But it is sad about him that he could never play sports or he could never really...
Yeah, so that's all he could
have friends.
Was read comics and research this shit all the time. And, I mean, we're going to spoil Glass a little bit, but he's fucking right. There have been gods... And that's the whole point of the ending of Glass, which we'll get into because you said you had no idea what the fuck that meant, but we'll get into it.
I still have no idea.
We'll get into it. But yeah, I think the ending is pretty solid. It's actually a pretty like, oh shit, twist ending. Like,
it was definitely a twist. I will say that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, whoa. Like, yeah, him being responsible for like a fire in like a hotel and like killing.
I definitely don't like the fact that the conductor still drove the train after seeing him walk out.
Just some random dude. Yeah, no, for real though. What did you think of? Okay, so what did you think of? We kind of talked about it a little bit already. How like the ending kind of turns into like almost like a slasher flick or like a horror movie. What did you think of the criminal at the end, who's like the janitor at the station? Which, good on. Speaking of calling in sick, good on that bro. He like broke into a house, tied up some ladies, and was like, I gotta go to work, guys. You just chill. Like, and he worked his full shift just like taking out the trash and shit. It's like, what the fuck is this guy doing at work right now? But
I don't even remember. That's how much I didn't care.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't even remember. It'll come to me.
Yeah, the guy who's like he's in the orange jumpsuit, or in the orange jumpsuit, I think, and he breaks into the house, kills the dad instantly, ties up the kids, and then the wife, but the wife dies, I want to say, and then he gets him at the end, he chokes him out. and the guy's like fighting back, and then he ends up like choking him to death.
In the pool.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
yeah, and they fall in the pool.
He falls in the pool. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
And I like the fact that he does have a weakness, which is water. A lot of people don't understand that. I'm like, no, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Why?
Because he has to be able to breathe. Like I've always said that about Wolverine, like the like X-Men character, where it's like, oh, you should be able to kill him by drowning him. That makes sense to me. Because like as much as like his body works, like it heals itself super fast, it still needs oxygen. So water would stop that. Do you know what I mean? Like anybody who's invincible, the biggest motherfucker in the world, can still drown.
Well, that
like
means
the Hulk could still drown.
You can just drown everybody.
Well, that's it. Like that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like that weakness makes a lot of sense to me.
That's why I don't like. Yeah, by the way, we have to talk about Split and all those stupid lights.
Yeah, that's Glass.
That's Glass.
Yeah, I hate that one too. It's like that one doesn't make sense to me at all.
So like, I'm still not really a fan of Superman for that reason.
Okay, like
I don't like that he's invincible.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Fucking hate it so much.
So we've definitely talked about this before, but the problem with having a character that's invincible is instead of writing interesting stories for them, every story has to be, no, this is another thing that could beat them.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas like it's either that or it's always fucking kryptonite. Like I bet of all the Superman movies, I bet most of them are the villain gets kryptonite and Superman almost is beaten, but then he triumphs in the end. That's pretty
what
much
Lex Luthor does. He has
Batman does it in Batman v Superman. Like Lex Luthor does it in like Superman 1, Superman Returns. Like,
but other than that, Superman 101.
It's true.
But I love Batman because it shows he can lose.
Oh yeah.
I want to say we've seen Wolverine lose. Like, we've seen all of them lose.
It's true.
So it's like, it can happen.
Well, it does also make it more interesting, right? When Jackie Chan used to have this, like, theory when, like, making action scenes where to make the ultimate underdog, the hero must start at the bottom in every scene. So, and Jackie Chan literally starts out on the ground at the beginning of every action scene. Something happens, and he's on the ground, and then he literally has to fight his way back onto his feet.
I don't think I've ever seen a Jackie Chan movie.
Really? Oh, they're amazing, actually.
Is that with Chris Tucker?
Well, that's one of them, Rush Hour, but that wasn't like a Jackie Chan movie. It was a Jackie Chan movie, but like
I saw that like when it came out.
So he made a bunch of movies back in the day before he like came to America. He made a bunch of like Asian flicks. I want to say China. I could be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure China though. Anyway, Chinese flicks. Anyway, but they're all in like Mandarin, whatever like language, whatever country he's from. And but they're fucking amazing. They're like, it's like he'll spend months on one stunt where it's like there's like one where he's like on a phone with somebody and there's like a pencil and he kicks the pencil in the air and grabs it and then like writes stuff down. But he spent like weeks just learning how to kick this pencil.
That?
But that's like, so he wrote and directed all the movies and started them, so he could like he had, you know what I mean, unlimited amounts of time to like figure this out. So every one of his movies have just crazy stunts like this.
Was it worth it?
Oh, 100. They look amazing. Like if you can like, and I know you're not the biggest fan of subtitles and stuff like that, you can watch it on fucking mute, and the action scenes are amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah, like it's like because they're all just like. So it's the same thing with like silent film stars back in the day. Like I think I swear we talked about this recently too, but like they weren't just actors; they were fucking magicians. Like in order to like get some of the stunts done, they actually had to be like daredevils and magicians to catch it on film, because like you didn't have effects back then. You had to do it for real. So like, and he's one of those people where it's like some of the shit he does, it's like, whoa, like running up cars and stuff. You're like, this is fucking crazy. He did it for real. Like, so anyway,
I'll check it out.
It's definitely fucking Chinese. I'm sorry. It's been bugging me. It's definitely in Hong Kong. I'm pretty positive. It doesn't matter. Anyway, but Unbreakable, I don't really have much else to say about it. I love the premise. It's one premise. It's one movie where like, it's like a Memento, where like if somebody's like, I gotta watch, like tell me a good film. It's a really easy movie to like hook people in.
Okay.
It's like, oh, it's a crime movie, like Memento. It's a crime movie, but it's backwards.
Okay.
It's like, you know what I mean? You see the death, the murder in the beginning, and then it's like working backwards to like how he got there. This one is another cool one where it's like, oh, it's about this guy that like thinks this other guy's a superhero, and it's like, is he? Like, it's like one of those things. If one guy's on one end of the spectrum who's super fragile, can there be somebody on the other end that's unbreakable? And I like that idea.
I definitely liked the twist of the car accident.
Yeah, where it turned out
he was never actually hurt.
he just did that to stay with her, right? Like,
It's like, holy, how cute!
it's super
What
cute.
a cutie patootie.
I think their relationship's super cute too, where it's like,
Why would they divorce if it was super cute?
I don't know. It's a great question. They never really get into why they're really on the rocks. It's just, they just are. I don't know. Anyway, you want to move on to Split?
Yeah.
Split coming up next. All right, we're talking about Split.
But
Before we talk about the movie Split, do you want to talk about that documentary a little bit?
sure.
So did you watch it?
I watched 2 of the 4.
Okay. So here's the thing. You actually watched the 2 more interesting episodes. Oh. Episode 3 is very much like him being like cured in quotations, but not like, okay, so we're kind of ruining this documentary. So it's called The 24 Faces of Billy Milligan.
Yeah.
So it's about this guy who,
This is real.
it's real. It's real. He, in the 70s, he raped a bunch of
4 girls on campus.
Yeah, in Ohio. And I'm trying to think if something else happened too. I feel like something else happened as well. Oh, he did a bunch of armed robberies as well.
Yeah, he robbed them all and then raped them all.
Yeah, and then he did some armed robberies and like of stores and stuff.
That was a long time ago.
That was. Okay, anyway. Well, he gets caught and he ends up claiming that he doesn't remember doing it, and he's eventually the first person to be diagnosed with
I don't know if he was the first, but it was definitely the most.
the first like public, like,
yeah,
very like to be is it DID? I'm trying to remember.
That is exactly what it is.
DID. So dissociative identity disorder, I'm assuming, something like that.
That was a great guess.
Right, I'm pretty sure. But
that was an excellent guess.
So the guy, it ends up coming out like after years and years and years of just therapy and like him talking to people, that he has 24 different personalities. The actual Billy is like asleep. He's been asleep for years because he's abused by his mother.
Yeah.
And his other personalities like take care of him. So he's got like Arthur's like the super smart one.
I know there's Tommy. He's a big one.
So that's Tommy's like the escape artist. He's like the super clever one.
And then it was the woman who was the actual raper.
Yes, who's she's a lesbian, I believe.
The guys never raped the girls. The woman did.
Yeah, and then
the one guy, the Yugoslavian one.
That's the big guy.
He's the one that actually does the armed robberies.
Yes, and he's also the one. So Arthur normally has the light, but when he goes to
Reagan is one.
Reagan. That's the big guy. So
Reagan is Dennis. Pretty much. Patricia is the woman.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then it goes from Analia. Analia, isn't that her name? Annalia.
I believe you're correct. And then you find out that like, I want to say 10 or so, 10 are nice personalities. There's like 2 little kids that are brother and sister. But anyway, and then there's 14 that are, they're like classified as undesirables. There's like something about them that he doesn't want anybody to know about. So it's like they're like the bad personalities that he doesn't let have the light ever.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's just interesting. So this all comes out, and then he's eventually like not cured, but they like fuse all of the personalities into one, which is Billy again.
I can't believe they did that.
It's like through just medication. And then what ends up happening, I mean, if you want me to spoil the ending, you're gonna watch it?
If you want to skip this, make sure.
Well, yeah, okay.
We will.
If you don't want to know the ending, skip like ahead 2 or 3 minutes. But so
we won't talk about Split for 2 to 3 minutes. So go ahead.
So what ends up happening is he ends up escaping from like custody, and he like goes on the run, and he ends up getting a fake
ID,
social insurance number, and with that he gets a fake driver's license, a fake everything, and he ends up living in Canada.
Stop.
Oh, no, yeah, he lives in Canada in Seattle, so it's like right on the border. And and what ends up happening though is because he stops taking his medication, they start coming back. And then it gets to the point though where it's like he lived with a guy and the guy ended up going missing. And it's like, but it's like to this day, they're like, did he? I mean, it's kind of a coincidence.
He's still around?
Oh, he ended up dying. He died of cancer, I want to say in 2014.
Holy, he was alive for that long?
Oh, it was very recently, yeah. So, no, maybe it was 2004 or 2009. But it was, anyway, yeah, it was recent enough.
Whoa.
So so one guy went missing, and he was also cashing this guy's checks. So it was one of those things where it's like, this is weird. And then there was another guy where it was like he ended up saying in like an interview, it's like, well, you guys haven't even talked about the black guy yet. And they're like, what the fuck does that mean? And then they like started going through like records, and it turned out that there was like a black guy who went missing at the same time that he was like in this one city. And it's like, oh, it's like stuff like that. So it's like, he definitely killed some people. It's like one of those weird things. But once they caught him, they ended up catching him again. They got him on medication, and then they let him go, and they gave him a job and everything. He ended up like, his sister had like a trailer, and he ended up living the rest of his life in this trailer, and like hanging out with his like nieces and stuff.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's what. So you end up, but like it's just anyway. So this story, this like real life story, they were gonna make a movie about it, right? So he sold the rights to James Cameron, who like made like Terminator and like fucking Avatar and Titanic. So James Cameron, super interested, wanted to make this movie called The 24 Faces of Billy Mulligan. Well, it turns out that he didn't realize it, but all of his other personalities had already sold the rights to his like story to like countless other people.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, so there was a woman who actually had a contract, and she had the rights to the story already. So she was like writing a book. So she ended up releasing this book when they were like, this was all happening. And she was like, hey, I'll sell you the movie rights for like,
oh, something stupid.
Yeah, it was like $300,000 at one point. No. I think they offered her $300,000, and she was like, no, I'm not doing anything under 1.5 million.
Yeah, exactly what I would do.
So James Cameron went back to Fox, and Fox was like, you can go fuck yourself. The story ain't that good. So James Cameron's like, all right, sorry. And that was the end of that. So, and then like other directors have been trying to pick it up for years. And
well, you're out $10 million before you even write a script.
Right. And
because you need to buy them all.
Yeah.
And that means the contract should be void. No?
Yeah. I don't know how. That's the thing. He technically signed a contract, but it was like not him.
But it should be all void. If I can sign 10 contracts.
I don't know.
Under Ashley, ALK.
Yeah, it's true.
Does that mean you all own it? Do they should all?
No, I think it's the fraud after the first one. I don't know. But either way, so it got to the point where all these people are trying to make it still. And then Shyamalan comes out with Split. And he's like, oh, 100% I was inspired by this guy. But they were trying to make like a biopic about it, whereas this is not at all the same story.
Not even close.
Obviously, he's not kidnapping little girls. I mean, you know what I mean?
Okay,
to sacrifice to some monster, you know what I mean? Like some mythological creature or whatever. But like,
wow. I can't believe you can say that out loud.
But the thing, I don't see why not, right? Like, you're not using the names, you're not using anything. It's like, theoretically, every movie was inspired by something.
I guess.
You know what I mean? Like I could point to a lot of shit where I'm like, things I've written, I'm like, oh, that's 100%.
Good for him, man. Instead of fucking with all of that.
Yeah, it's like, that
he said, you waste time and money on that. I'm going to go do this.
Yeah. Whereas, as long as the story itself isn't like cherry picking, it's like not obviously,
which it obviously wasn't.
No, it's like 100%. The only thing that was like the real life figure was that character.
Yeah, the
character of like this person that has 24 different personalities, and they're not even the same names. It's like, just that is the inspiration. It's like, okay. So, yeah. And then once Split comes out, it's like, well, I can't make that movie now because it's done. But it's like, I think it's a really cool idea for a character.
That is a cool idea. Good for M for doing that. What's his first name? Do we even know?
What's that?
M. Night.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think I highly doubt
Wikipedia.
Knight is a part of his name. So one thing I also want to point out, which is something that I noticed in Unbreakable, is it's funny how defenseless some people are.
Oh, fuck.
Like how defenseless, like...
I'm going to try. I'm going to butcher it. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
hold on. Let's hear it.
It's not really like, excuse me, like, it's not really like English.
Yeah.
Manoj, Manoj.
Okay.
And then Nellyatu, Nelliyatu.
I like that. That's nice.
So Manoj, Nellyatu, and then I can't even pronounce this. Shyamalan?
I believe it's Shyamalan. I could be wrong on that. I
It's
don't know.
Shyamalan.
Oh, I thought there was a Y in there for some reason.
Well, there is, but there's a pronunciation beside it.
Oh, I see.
And the Y is silent.
Oh,
so
okay.
Shyamalan. So anyways, there you go. Manoj Nellyatu.
Okay.
If that's how you say it.
All right.
I'm really white. I'm sorry. I probably butchered that so bad.
So going back to what I was saying, it's very funny how like defenseless people are. Like, and this is real life too. Like,
Yeah.
Like, so in Unbreakable, there's this scene when there's like a knock at the door and he answers it, and then like the villain, like the big guy who like ties everybody up, he's like, "Can I come in?" And the guy's like, "No."
No.
And then the guy just like goes to open the door, and then he like struggles, and then he gets killed. It's like, oh, that's like, but it's so weirdly realistic how like defenseless people are.
Oh.
And then the other one is the dad at Split. The dad in the opening scene, where he's just like putting
Yeah.
groceries, and he's like, "Hi, are you okay? What's going on?" And then it just shows him like on the ground. It's like, oh yeah, that guy stood no fucking chance. Like, let's talk about the three actresses. I'm not really sure who plays the black girl of the three. I'm not 100% sure, but the other two. So Anna Taylor-Joy,
Which we all know. She's
Yeah.
an actual like mainstream actress.
yeah, she's fantastic.
Wasn't she in Menu?
So
She was in the chess movie.
yeah, the Queen's Gambit. So like
Yeah.
since Split, because I think Split was like the first thing I ever saw her. She's probably in other shit, but she's definitely like been in. She's playing Furiosa in
Yeah,
like.
I know her. I actually know her face.
Yeah.
I don't know her name. And you just said it and I already forgot
It's like
her name.
Anya, I believe.
I have no idea. But I know I've seen the Queen's Gambit recently. And then I watched Menu because you told me to.
Yeah, Menu's great. It's actually funny. I do feel like this movie and Menu have a lot of things in common, in the sense that they're very much about like eat the rich. Like,
Okay.
It's not really. They don't ever say that. Like Kevin never says that his problem is with wealthy people, but he kind of does.
Well, he says if you've never had a care in the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you've never had a problem.
Yeah.
Like everything's just taken care of for you.
Yeah.
Whereas like that, and he mistakes her because she's just at that birthday party, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like he eventually realizes like, oh yeah, no, you're equally as like
fucked up as
traumatized.
me.
Yeah.
But they say it in the beginning of the movie where they were like, "This is what you get for inviting
Yeah.
the weird kid," and that assumes it's her.
Yeah, but
She was never supposed to be there.
it's true. So
She's not part of the clan, the rich girl clan.
Mm-hmm.
Her story is so sad.
yeah, okay.
Holy fuck. Piscatella, by the way, from Orange and the New Black.
I know, right?
Screwed me up. That poor guy has such bad reps. He's going to play a good part soon.
You know what? He was really good in The Stand. They did an adaptation of Stephen King's The Stand on Amazon Prime, and he played for whatever reason I don't remember his name, but he's like the character is like a little slower, but he's like a big guy, but he's such a good character. He's actually very, very good in it. The actor.
I don't even know what that is.
The Stand's pretty good.
We should do one of these for Stephen King movies. I haven't really seen many of them.
Oh, I'm down. I'd love to watch.
The Shining, obviously, but
Yeah, 3 best Stephen King movies. I mean,
oh, Misery would be awesome.
Misery, Shining, and Pet Sematary. Done.
Well, I've seen those 3. Can you pick any other ones? Those are the only 3 I've seen.
Yeah, it's because they're the 3 best, Ashley. Let's be honest here.
Like, I see
all right.
Cujo, I guess.
All right, we'll do Stephen King movies that you've never seen before. And by you, I mean nobody.
Nobody. Pet Sematary is fucking amazing.
I love Pet Sematary.
Oh, that so creeps me out.
Oh, the Never Get Out of Bed Again? Yeah, fuck that. It scares
What? No.
no, fuck that. It scares the shit out of me. That was traumatizing as a kid.
Steven. So, fun fact about Steven. There are 2 scenes you cannot watch, and that is one of them.
Yeah, nope.
And it's that fox and the hound scene
Oh yeah, that's
in the
sad
woods.
too. That's a sad one.
My niece is watching it. He goes, "Yep, gotta go to the garage. You'll just leave."
No, that fox.
Holy fuck.
That fox is
You're
very,
right,
very confused.
Just looking in the rearview mirror, it's like, Todd! Yeah, at that getting out of bed scene, I know.
No.
So it's Pet Sematary. It really gets me. The movie I cannot watch alone is Blair Witch Project.
Really?
I'm an adult and I won't watch it in the dark. I can't. For some reason, it freaks me the fuck out, man. Not a fan. And then there's like alleged things that come out lately and they're like, yeah, the people didn't even know that, like, they knew the premise, but like the shaking of the tent and stuff, that was all done by like this on the whim of like the producer trying to scare them. So all that fear is real. And then like Buddy at the end, and it's like she didn't know that was gonna happen. I'm like, there's no way, because I would have fucking quit and poop myself, quit, and but I still can't watch it. Yeah, so that movie is the one that gets me. Anyways, we're off topic.
Off topic.
Gets
So
me, man.
going back to actresses or actors and actresses in the movies. I really like the one girl who plays Claire. Her name's Haley Lou Richardson. So this was another thing. This is the first thing I ever saw her in, but she's fucking so good in other things. She's
Is
like,
it one of the young girls?
Yeah. So it's
the other one. Yeah.
The blonde one. Yeah. I believe. Yeah. So she's in like White Lotus, which is White Lotus season 2, which is really good. But she was in a movie that came out a couple years ago called Columbus that I recommend anybody watch. It's such a fucking good movie. It's like her and John Cho are the main characters in.
Okay.
But yeah, she's just really good. So it's nice to see her in this. We already talked about James McAvoy. Is fucking amazing. Who originally, because they worked together in Signs, Shyamalan gave Joaquin Phoenix the script. So if there was a second there, it was going to be Joaquin Phoenix, but something happened and it fell through, and then he got James McAvoy, and James McAvoy.
Okay, so, Joaquin Phoenix I saw in Ladder 49.
Yeah.
That movie got me in my feels. And I didn't really like, he's been around, but you're kind of like, okay. It was him and Joker.
Oh, he's
that
so good.
Changed everybody. And you see how serious he took that role. He did so good.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it sucks because you have Heath Ledger and then you have him and you're like, oh, you equally put in as much effort.
You did different things, but like, yeah.
But then you have the sexy one in the middle and you're like, oh.
The gangster one.
Yeah.
The gigolo one. Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Gigolo Jared Leto.
Literally. And you're like, oh. Like, you see the potential that you could have had. Which is why he was in one movie. And Hakeem has 2. That's just about him.
Yeah.
So it's like, but yeah, I think Hakeem would have done really good if we knew what he was capable of in the Joker. But we wouldn't have yet.
Oh, it's true.
But then again, James McAvoy, we didn't see in anything.
He was in a bunch of shit,
but not just, like this.
It wasn't until
X-Men,
this where it's like,
I think,
woo.
was one of them.
Yeah, so he had to shave his head for X-Men. That's why he had his head shaved in the first place.
So you're like, okay, like it's not that big of a deal. This movie is something else.
Yeah, he's fucking
He
amazing.
fucking went out, and you really have to sit at home and figure out what are the accents. How am I going to do this? Like, there must have been a professional with him. Like,
it's true.
You got to be like a young boy. You have to be 9 years old, you know. And
even the subtle things he does with like his eyebrows.
But that's how I know it's Dennis. Isn't that funny?
Right? As soon as he
like,
just has this look on his face.
But it's like a wave. One is I can't believe you can do that.
Right?
I can't do that.
And like, but
you can raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do one.
Oh, you do it really well. Can you do the other one?
I can't. I can only do one.
But like, the minute he's like sitting in the chair and then he did that, and Casey was with him, I was like, oh, it's Dennis. Like, that's so cool that he did an eye thing, and then you could tell who the character is.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like just the slightest things, even like you could just tell the difference between Barry. You could tell the difference between
Yeah.
Hedwig, and like it's just little things. Patricia, every time he like covers his chest,
And then you can tell it's Patricia.
it's Patricia. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, and like in the third one, she's referred to as the High Priestess, and I'm like, what a cool name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
think he did very good. Like, honestly,
no, for sure.
I applaud.
Yeah, I think this movie has. Like we were talking about, we already talked about it a little bit, but it's just super tight. The plot is really cool. Just this idea. It's like, no, there are three people that they don't let anybody else have the light anymore.
Yeah.
And they run the show, and they are trying to like resurrect this 24th personality who's like this creature. Like, and I'm like, that's so fucking. It's such a cool idea.
Yeah. By the way, the only thing I'm not really a fan of is they say he's only 24 in this movie.
Oh.
That doesn't sound right.
No, he's definitely more than 24.
How is that possible? Unless I read that wrong. It said he was a 24-year-old with X amount of... Yeah.
Billy Milligan in real life was 24 when he got caught.
No, I'm talking about...
Was it? Okay.
I'm talking about Split.
Okay.
But I'm like, that's kind of weird that you think he looks 24. He definitely looks 35.
Oh, he's definitely like 30 going on 105. Yeah, he's old as fuck.
I didn't say he don't look good. I didn't.
Oh no,
say
he
that.
looks fit. He looks way better than
He
I
looks
do.
good. I'm just saying. Yeah, maybe I'll look right now just to make sure. But I'm like positive. Yeah, that he's only. There's a split in Croatia apparently.
Okay. Something super interesting to bring up too. So this movie was made by Universal, which is a completely different production company than the company that made Unbreakable, which was Disney.
Yeah.
So the fact that apparently M. Night kept the sequel rights to Unbreakable, so they couldn't make an Unbreakable 2 without him. And then when they wouldn't make Split, he made Split with Universal. And then Glass, in order to get that made, he literally had to convince Disney and Universal to like co-produce it, which is like unfucking heard of.
And he actually did it.
And they did it because of Split. Split actually made a pretty good like amount of money.
I just took a screenshot of it. I want to interrupt you.
No, you're right.
It was Blumhouse.
Blumhouse. Yeah.
Which I did not know that.
Yeah.
So Blumhouse.
Yeah.
Blumhouse sounds better.
So Jason Blum, yeah.
So it was Blumhouse's most highest grossing film. It made $278 million in the box office until Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
And that made $294.
And what was the budget for it? I think it was low. It was like 15
What a
or
sick
something.
poster.
It's a very cool poster. I actually think all of the posters for these movies are really good, but
The budget. Do you want to guess?
I think it's 15, isn't it?
9
9, really?
$9 million.
Maybe it's Glass that's 15.
And
I know
it made
Glass has a really low budget.
280,000 or 280 million dollars.
That's awesome. And that's the
Thing
thing.
was 9.
But that's the thing. Like, I remember seeing this movie and I was like, oh, he's back. Like, because there was a second there where like M. Night was the shit back in the early 2000s, and then he like kind of takes a dive in the middle here, and then it's like, oh, Split comes out, and it's like, oh, at first it was The Visit. It was like, oh, I believe it was The Visit was first, right? And it was like, oh, that was a good fucking movie, and then Split comes out, it's like, oh, this motherfucker's back.
Yeah.
Like, here we go.
So Glass was 20 million.
Okay.
And it made almost 250.
Okay.
So
but hey, they made money. They made some bucks. Like,
yeah. What was the first one, do you think?
Unbreakable. I actually want to say Unbreakable actually had a super high budget. I want to say it was like 80 million or something for like that movie, which like there's no fucking reason why it should have ever cost that much money.
Like you just Split with 9 million.
That's
but then
it.
again, though,
It's three girls
nothing happened in Split
in
though.
a house. Yeah, it's like
in a basement where you can destroy. You're right. Wow. Unbreakable was 75 million budget.
Jesus, eh? Like
That's a lot for what?
I guess you're paying for Bruce Willis, you're paying for Sam Jackson, but
I guess, but fuck. It made 250. Almost 250.
that's not bad. Eh? That's fucking good.
I didn't say it wasn't.
So like all three of these movies made about 250, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
but they're most... Okay, here's the problem. Is it the most highest grossing because it only costed 9 and they made X amount? Is
Yeah.
that why?
yeah. So
Which means how much did Five Nights at Freddy's cost? Or is it the most amount of money?
So are you saying? So the question is that profit? Is it 200?
Right.
Is it the most profitable movie, or is just the highest grossing? That's a great question. I don't know.
Well, it said, didn't it, highest grossing? Is that not what that means?
Well, I believe that more means the most money at the box office, whereas profits are different, right? So Split cost 9. We'll say 18 because you usually double it for advertising. You usually spend whatever the budget is. You just spend that on advertising as well. So we'll say 18, and then everything else after that is profit.
Wow.
Unless there are some actors, it's a smart way to go, where instead of taking a salary on the movie, you'll take a back end deal. So instead of you paying me $10 million, I'll take 10% of whatever we make.
That's what I would do.
Right? Whereas I know Robert Downey Jr. had that deal in the Marvel movies. And because of that, he became like a fucking billionaire. It was like one of those things where they signed that contract before the Marvel Cinematic Universe was a thing. He was like the first one. And because of that, they could never change it. It was just, that was the contract.
He got fucking lucky with the later ones.
That was it. So
Five Nights at Freddy's was 20 million.
Okay. And
it made almost 300.
So maybe it is still the most profitable. I suck at math. But anyway, another thing that's interesting about this story. So, like I said, he wrote it for Unbreakable. So there was a second there where M. Night decided to start his own production company.
Okay.
I believe it's called the M. Night Chronicles, and so what it is so he was producing super low budget horror films that he wrote or he co-wrote. It was like one of the, and then he was producing them and letting other people direct them, and they were all going to be under his banner, his production company. They made one movie. It was called Devil, which I actually like. I think it's a solid movie. It's 5 people in an elevator in an office building, and the elevator stops, and it turns out that one of the people are the devil. And it becomes this game of who is it?
Why
would
that question come up?
Because so there's 5 people, and one of them is the lights go off, and one of them, then the lights come back on, and one of them's dead. And one of the girls say she saw a monster in the elevator and she got bit or something. And then you start to realize that all of them are bad people. They all did something wrong. And then, of course, the lights turn off and then another one dies. And it's it becomes this, but it takes place just in an elevator. So it's it gets to the point. And then there's, the main character.
How claustrophobic.
Right?
After, 8 hours of filming.
So then there's, a bunch of stuff that's happening outside of the elevator, people trying to get it restarted. There's a guy that's on the intercom that's, working with the police. I want to say he's a police officer. And he's we're trying to figure this out. But it's but it's just one of those things where just the lights go off and then come back on and someone's dead. And it's what the fuck? But anyway, that's the whole premise though.
Okay.
Solid movie. I actually really liked it. So that was the first one. I don't think it made a lot of money though. And then the second one or the third one was going to be Split. So because he said he was
which he could have done with $9 million budget.
But instead, it didn't. So that didn't work out. I want to say something else came up for whatever reason. The M. Night Chronicles just kind of stopped. They didn't do anything with it. And then Blumhouse comes out, and Blumhouse is pretty much that idea.
Yeah.
So Jason Blum, his whole business strategy is, I'm going to make movies for $1 million that are horror movies because I know that I could release horror movies in theaters and make $50 to $100 million. So that's his strategy.
That's how I know his name then, because I watch a lot of horror flicks.
Right? You've seen it. You've seen that Blumhouse or Jason Blum a billion times.
I know exactly what the logo looks like. I can see it perfectly. Right? That and Twisted Pictures that did Saw.
So Blumhouse comes out a little after Twisted Pictures, but you're right. It's to the point now where Jason Blum's on Shark Tank. Like,
Holy!
yeah, like I seen him on Shark Tank a couple months ago. But
That's the big league too.
but that's it. But that's the thing. But he's got this genius idea. He's making movies. So it's like now it's been so many years that it's at the point now where he's making $10 million or $20 million and they're raking in $500 million. You know what I mean? So it's like he just keeps upping the ante and upping the ante. And it's a genius model.
Yeah, but you got to be careful because you don't want to put in
definitely.
50 million hoping to get back $1 billion and you only make 100 million.
100%. That's like that.
Yeah, it happens.
That's the movie industry. But so I like this model, and I like that M. Night decided, like, no, you know what? Fuck, I'm just gonna do it myself. I'm just gonna do it myself. 9 million, you know. Whereas Glass, I want to say, in order to convince Disney and Universal, because they're the ones who like own the characters, to let him do it, he had to self-finance most of the movie himself. And I want to say he took out like a mortgage on his house to like make Glass.
Sucks.
But it makes $200 million. So it's like, hey, maybe he made some money off of it. Who fucking knows? But
how much did he owe Universal and Disney?
great question. I have no
Yes, there goes
fucking
50 million each. So he made 50 million? Great.
But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about Unbreakable. We already talked about, or not Unbreakable, sorry, Split. I know we already talked about that scene where Kevin wakes up and he was like, kill me.
Yeah.
Like, that's the saddest, like, holy
it's
fuck.
so sad. And he's like, there's a gun here.
Yeah.
There's bullets here.
I remember seeing that in theaters and being like, what a great villain. Like, because I just assumed she was going to kill the monster. Like, although I kind of knew that I already knew it was a sequel to Unbreakable, but still, like,
I can't believe she hesitated. I would have been like, okay,
oh
where's
yeah,
the gun?
fuck that.
Where's the gun? Let's go.
You're done, bro. Like, I'm
Let's
coming
go.
for you.
Yeah, I hated that he saw the scars and that's what, like, it was so dumb.
It is true. I did make a point to like write this down. So his whole thing was like, you've never been tested. Like, you have to be pure. You have to be pure. There's even a scene when the two girls are locked in different closets. The other two girls, so not the main character, but the other two. And the one girl is using the coat hanger, and the other one's like, you just got to get this door open. Once you get this door open, just picture yourself. You're going to be on your couch sitting watching movies. And it's like, wow, these girls really are like, that's, I got to get out of here so I can go chill on a couch. It's like, you're not going to do anything else with your life. Like, I just thought that was like,
that was a good point.
Like, he really is. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
And what? He just bites a little bit of flesh and then he leaves the rest.
I think he definitely killed them.
But like, he only eats like the one top layer of the skin.
It's weird. Yeah.
He doesn't even eat like in the body.
It is fucking crazy that he's eating people to begin with.
Yeah,
let's be honest here.
I don't like that he killed the therapist.
Oh.
I wasn't a fan. I thought she's been around enough
that he would have
that all the voices. There's 23 of you, and one is the beast. All of you could not overtake that one personality.
It's true.
To be like, hey, buddy, we don't touch her. Leave her. Even if the beast like grabbed her shoulders and he's like, I won't kill you. You have to get the fuck out of here right now.
Yeah.
And for her to go, okay, and then leave. That I would have been okay with that.
That's true. I think she's that character that kind of has to die. So the main character's like, especially because he wakes up after that and he's like, holy shit, what the fuck did I just do? Like, so, and it kind of shows the beast doesn't have control over like what he's doing.
It's just sad. Where it's
sad.
like, she spent all that time with you.
She's the one trying to help. 100%. Like,
and none of you thought, like, all of you are emailing her 5 minutes apart all night.
Yeah.
You guys didn't try?
Yeah, it's true. And I do, there's a
like,
really...
I wish there was a little bit of a fight where he was, like, holding her, then letting her go, and then like...
I do want to say, too, there's a particular moment with Dennis, and I don't remember if it's... I want to say it's in Split, that I really like, where her and Dennis are talking, because I want to say it's definitely... Sorry, it's definitely... It's definitely Split. But it's, she's pretty much like, Barry, I know it's Dennis. Like, I know you're Dennis. And then he switches over and he's like, all right, like, you caught me kind of thing. But then he says something like, no one's listening. Like no one's out there anymore. And it's weirdly sad the way he says it. And it's like the moment where you kind of weirdly understand where Dennis is coming from. Where he's like, no one's going to help us.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're the only one.
And then she's like, I have another person lined up.
Yeah, if I do die. Yeah, that's it. That's what that was, that scene.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, where she's like, I have a second person. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, they'll have all my notes. They know everybody. Everything's okay.
Cause yeah, no, Dennis is a super interesting character. Cause he's the one. And she even says like, you've done some bad things, but you were like really good to Kevin. Like you protected him.
You protected Kevin, yeah.
And it's like, and that's why he's such a neat freak, is because that's the one way that she wouldn't beat you, is like if you were really neat and tidy. So that's why but even like so when he dies in Glass, I'm of the opinion that his last words, no, I think his actual last words are even better, but I do like the Dennis scene where he's like, there's so much blood on these pants. You have to clean these pants. And then he like switches over, but it's like, it's kind of funny, but it's also weirdly sad that that's the last thing.
I don't remember what the last words were.
So and then they start like cycling through more personalities. And that's why I'm like, oh, you're losing me. But then Kevin takes over at the end. And Kevin's like, hey, it's cool. To me, I'm going to hold the light for as long as I can. And then he looks up. He's like, you know what? This actually isn't that bad. And then he dies. And it's kind of sad. It's like, he was so afraid of reality. Light. And then finally it's like his last one was like, no, you know what? I should do this.
Yeah.
I should face this. And then he dies. It's like, it's so sad though. Like,
well, it's sad that he had the light and then.
Yeah. It's like, I could have done this the whole time.
He got shot.
Yeah.
Because he had the light, right?
And she did kind of fucking kill him. But to be fair, he told her to in the previous movie. All right. You want to move on to Glass? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm just not a fan of that whole twist. I think it was so dumb.
That it turned out to be
like you killed your fucking therapist. What was so impure about her?
Yeah, really though.
And then, but this young girl, because she has scars.
If I had to guess, I would say that. But that's the thing, that's not true though at all. Because there's a scene in Glass where he kills Sam Jackson in Glass, and he says, I'm here to protect Kevin, and I can't trust that you'll act in his best interest. And then he kills him. Where I'm like, maybe he thought the same thing about her, but there's no fucking way. She was the only person that was trying to help Kevin. So. But
it is sad whenever she's like, your stepdad is here, or whatever, your guardian's here, and she's just in the car, and she's like please no. But the look she gave is all that needed to be gave.
It's true.
Even I was like, if I saw that, I would go, yep, heard you loud and clear. I'm going to shut this door. Can you lock the car?
Yeah.
And you're not going with him.
No, it's true. There's one thing that I will say about both the Unbreakable and Split. There's a lot of these movies are show don't tell, which I like. There's a lot of little things like you can pick up on personal relationships just by how people are acting around each other. And I do like that. In that moment, you're right. Like, she doesn't have to say anything. She just looks at the cop like, oh, fuck that guy. Like,
and the cop is like, yep, got it. No problem. Yep. Me and our sister have that. I can look at her across a party and we'll both hear it so loud.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, yeah, that was there. Cool.
And then I was going to say one more thing. There are two shots that I think are fucking spectacular in this movie. One, when he's climbing up the wall the first time.
Yeah.
That shot is so fucking cool.
Wild.
And then the other one is when he's running and he runs under the streetlight. I really like that shot. It's very cool.
And he keeps going back and forth. And you're like,
that's cool. And I love that noise that they make, that music cue. I don't know how
I don't remember.
It's like a... I don't know. That is very cool. I like it. Anyway, you want to go to Glass?
Yeah.
Let's go on to Glass. Glass.
Yeah. So what was up with the hand at the end?
Okay. So Okay. So what the twist of this... Okay. Here's the thing that I don't like about this movie, okay?
Okay.
This is the one thing when the movie... Here's the thing. when I heard there was a sequel coming out called Glass, had all 3 characters, I was fucking stoked. I was like, there's infinite possibilities here. Then they showed the trailer. I'm like, I can't wait to see this final climactic battle between fucking Bruce Willis's character and James McAvoy. Like, I'm so excited for these movies. And then the movie, they decided to do something really different. And I get it. They only had $20 million to work with. So it's like, you can't really do it. I know. No, yes, I hear you on that. but it's like.
Essence. All of them.
But it's not like a $300 million Marvel movie. It's like, you got $20 million. It can only pretty much take place in one location. It's like, okay. So it's like, what do you
pause for that for 1 second?
Yeah.
It costs $100 million just to buy the rights and everything to make the fucking movie first.
Yeah, I probably did.
For Marvel, okay? And then you gotta pay for all the people.
It's true.
Okay, so Marvel only costs $200, but go ahead. But yes.
So I was really excited for this movie. And then they delivered something that I was like, I don't understand why you thought this was a good idea. So the idea behind Unbreakable and Split is it possible that these people are superhuman?
Okay.
Is it possible that these normal human beings are actually superhuman? Like, so Unbreakable, the whole movie is he actually unbreakable?
Yeah.
Split is he actually an
undefeated
invincible
beast.
monster? Okay. And then for whatever reason, they decided to introduce this doctor character in Glass, and her whole purpose is trying to convince us that no,
don't exist.
they're just human beings. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I get it, like, because it is a very clever idea where it's like, are you actually a superhero or do you just think you're a superhero?
I don't understand why Samuel was in this whole equation.
Because he's so smart. Yeah,
so?
I don't get it either. But he's really fragile. He's
Man,
superhuman
if you
fragility.
fucking go in the world of IQs, you know how smart people are these days?
No, it's true. I agree. It's okay.
I know what you mean. I know. I like Sarah Paulson too, but
I think she's great. Actually, I just think I'm like, oh, I don't. And when I heard she was a part of the cast, I'm like, I'm into it.
Medieval horror has my heart. Yeah,
not medieval horror. American Horror Story.
That's what I meant.
American. Yeah. As soon as you said that, I'm like, I knew exactly what you're talking about.
American Horror Story.
So my problem is they spend a big chunk of this movie trying to convince you that they're not superhuman,
which is a good point.
But we know they are. We just watched, especially because I watched them three in a row. I'm like, I know for a fucking fact that they are.
That one scene though, where she's like, "Listen, he had clay on his pants when he came in."
You're super clever.
She's like, "You knew there was red clay, and you've been there before, so you knew."
Yeah, it's
and
like
she's
you're
like,
Sherlock
"What about
Holmes.
you?
Yeah.
There was so many videos of rock climbers on your computer, scaling walls.
Yeah.
What if?" But then I'm thinking of Bruce sitting in there, staring at her, going, "Yeah, sure. I did not sit beside 4 cheerleaders while this guy was climbing the fucking ceiling.
Yeah.
No, that didn't happen.
No,
like,
I didn't lift 500 pounds.
like, bitch, that just fucking happened like a day ago. Like,
but that's it. Like,
you can't tell me that did not happen.
Talk about a fucking bummer. When
I never thought of it that way. That was a good point.
Right. I love the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie. They had me. I'm like, oh, he's beating up YouTube idiots. Fuck yeah. And then he gets in a fight with the Horde. I'm like, this is so fucking cool. This is what I want. And then they get caught and they end up in a mental institution.
I don't know why
they spend the rest of the movie in this fucking mental institution. Okay. So I hate that. Okay. I hate it. Okay. The whole point of the Clover people. Okay. So her whole thing is, what it turns out, what the twist of this movie is she's part of a secret organization that, so every time there's a superhero, a supervillain is created so they fight. It's like there's no point for one without the other kind of thing. So when this happens, her organization steps in and kills them. That's the point. She's like, we don't take sides. it doesn't matter if you're good or bad. We have to kill both of you.
How did you get that?
She says it at one point, but it's like, she's like, we've been around for thousands of years. Yeah. This is what we've been doing since ancient Rome, since like this, like anytime superhuman beings start, like they emerge, we have to take them out. And then she even says to him, she's like, listen, if you would have just stayed in your shadows and beat up fucking dumb TikTokers, I would have been cool with that. But then the Horde showed up. And it's like, once the Horde showed up, I had to take both of you out. It's just, and then she had to take Sam Jackson out because he like is in the middle of it as well.
Jesus. So what was the whole hand holding thing? Oh, what was that scene?
Because she's like, I need you to know why this happened.
Yeah. So what was the scene? It was like her in a restaurant.
And then two people leave. And then as soon as the two people leave, everybody stops talking. And then somebody stands up and they're like, we're alone now. And everybody in the restaurant is like part of this group.
Yeah.
This like secret organization. And then what it turns out, the big twist is, so the whole thing is, Sam Jackson pulled a Tarantino and he was like, I'm going to talk for 20 minutes about this finale that's never going to fucking happen. He's like, we're going to go to this building. We're going to blow it up. It's going to be fucking awesome. What?
Oh. I am so sorry. Sorry.
Oh, you're all right. You're all right. It's like, we're going to go to this building. We're going to blow it up. It's going to be fucking awesome. What nobody realized though is this is a $20 million movie. We can't be blowing up fucking buildings. So instead we're going to have a really cool parking lot fight. But like Sam Jackson's whole plan was, no, we were never going to make it out of this parking lot. That was the whole point. So when she was like, he made it so she would install cameras. And then he used the cameras against her by recording the fight and putting it on the internet.
I got all that. Yeah. Because the three people it went to was Casey, Joseph, and the mom.
Yes.
And then they dispersed it between everybody.
Which I think is cool. And then he even says, he's like, this is an origin story. This is us showing the world that superhuman beings exist. And like that's why she was like, I just got outsmarted. And she's like, freaking out at the end because there's nothing she can do now. She can't clean it up now. It's on the internet. So
yeah, I can't believe. I guess that makes sense because that means they didn't call the police. They called her people, and that's who drowned him.
Yes, and that was it. And a lot of people don't like the fact that he was drowned in a puddle.
Yeah, well,
I agree. It was fucking stupid. It's
kind of anticlimactic.
It was super anticlimactic. I remember seeing it in the theater.
You're just a strong person, and you couldn't.
He was weakened because he was in the other bit of water first, and which created the puddle.
No one saw my eye roll there.
Right? But like, and then here's the thing though. I will say, because before he gets drowned, she's like, take my hand. I want you to know like why. And then once he realizes why, he kind of looks at her like, oh, I get it. Like, all right. And he just like, I think he just accepts it. I don't think it was them killing him as much as him being like, oh, I fully understand why this has to happen.
Okay.
And him like just letting it happen. That's what I think it is. But I don't understand why they let the other three live in the first place. Yeah. If they're this secret organization that kills superheroes, these three people know for a fact that there are superheroes. Yeah. All right, clean up and just kill everybody.
That's a great point.
Like even the two nurses that were in the car, you got to kill them too. They saw something. Like, why do they let them? It doesn't make any sense. That's where I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
That is a great point.
Yeah, I will say, I do like that he did something unexpected. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, I'm expecting this big, cool fight between the Horde and David Dunn, and I kind of got it. But I wasn't expecting this movie. This is not what I was expecting when I heard about Glass, when I was like all for it. It's not what I was expecting. I don't know. I don't want to shit talk it too much, but like that
was a great point though. Yeah.
But a couple of things I do like about the movie. Let's because I do like. I mean, I love to stay positive. Yeah. I do like the roles of like him and his son. Like I do like that Joseph he's pretty much Oracle.
Yeah.
Like from Batman, he's on the computer like doing all that shit while Bruce Willis is beating people up.
Why'd you say Oracle?
Oh, because Oracle is like a Batman character. Batgirl in the comics.
Is that not fucking his assistant? What's his butler's name?
Alfred?
Yeah, is that not Alfred at home, like on the computer?
Theoretically, yeah, you could say that too. But,
Morgan Freeman, even.
Yeah, okay, fine. We'll say Alfred.
Lucius
He's
Fox.
like the Alfred. No, yeah. Well, in the comic books, Barbara Gordon, so Batgirl, she gets shot and she ends up in a wheelchair, and so she becomes like this computer tech. So she can't like, go out anymore. But anyway, so he's pretty much Oracle. I think that's fucking really cool. Anything with them too, I'm into it.
Okay.
Anything with Anna Taylor-Joy, like Casey Cook and James McAvoy, I'm into it. Anything with James McAvoy, I'm fucking into. I love the idea. It's like if you're going to take, okay, so in the first movie there are 3 personalities that are on the Horde side, and then there are like 20 or so that aren't. I love the fact that in this movie, it's now like more lopsided on the Horde side. Like it's like everybody's now like more than half are like, oh, we're on the Horde side now. Like I think that's so fucking interesting. Like the personalities themselves are flipping, and I'm like, I think that's really cool.
It is cool. There was one point where the son is in a comic book store and he sees all of the heroes section.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the villain section, and immediately I was like, that's who the villain is. So I thought for a split second that the son was going to become an extra superhuman villain because he has the power, and the Beast and Bruce had to like team up to take down the son. I don't know why that's the first thing I thought of.
Okay. Hey, that's
I'm like,
interesting.
This is such
it's interesting.
Why would he go to the villain section? The first thing I thought of.
I don't know. He was looking for something. I don't know what exactly.
I'm like, he's going to fucking take a villain comic and he's going to realize that he is the villain because there wasn't really a villain. There was obviously.
It's true. The Horde is the villain.
Obviously. But it's like, there was a point when I was like, oh, they're all going to work together.
Well, I guess I know. Technically, the girl's the villain.
Sarah
Paulson. She's the villain, technically.
Yeah. What was up with that stupid laser?
Oh, so it was supposed to be like a lobotomy machine, but he removed the mirrors. So right. So the whole thing was like her saying, "You've been getting out of your cage." That's your cell. Sorry.
We're gonna move it up to today.
Yeah. Okay. And then it's like we're gonna put cameras everywhere, and then she comes in. She's like, no. You keep getting out. We're gonna move it to today, and then they do it, and then he pretends to be like lobotomized, but it turns out that he removed the mirrors when he went out the first time because that was his plan. Was he was getting out so she would install cameras, and then he wanted her to move it up. And he like removed the mirrors way before.
Wow, this is fucking wild. I totally missed that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why isn't he all like a potato? Why is he all super smart still? Because he got out after that.
Yes. I will say again, we were talking about it earlier. I'm not a big fan of the whole light thing. The lights. Here's the thing.
Yeah, what is up with that?
I don't really understand it. However, it is a really cool effect. Where every time the lights go off, he like switches personalities. I'm into
I do like that.
That's a cool idea visually and like, yeah, I guess visually.
That is cool, but it's like, I don't understand how that would stop him.
Yeah, how would she even know that? The whole thing's just like, what?
There was no point in Split that that's a thing.
No.
If that was maybe a thing, I would understand.
Yeah. Like, even, I don't know. They don't. Yeah, that's the one thing where I'm like, I don't understand where that came from. But it's like whatever. I'm whatever.
Yeah, I have no clue what that was about.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I was gonna kind of. I mean, it's a little bit of a down note. I was gonna talk about Bruce Willis a little bit in this movie. So since this movie came out, it's kind of like been public knowledge that Bruce Willis's health has been declining quite a bit to the point where, and I think it's like cognitive stuff. Like, it's to the point where he can't even remember like lines or like he doesn't know where he is anymore. And watching this movie, I could kind of see a little bit of that. There's a little, like, he doesn't have a lot of lines. He's not really doing a lot. It's a lot of him sitting. You see what I'm saying?
I didn't even notice.
Like, I never really noticed it until I watched it this time. Where it's like, after knowing, and a lot of the stories about him, like, not being all there took place more like 2020, 2021. But this movie wasn't much before that. You see what I'm saying?
I did realize it's a really small part, and I was kind of weirded out. Whenever he's smashing into the steel door,
Yeah.
I can tell he's not smashing into that steel door.
Yeah.
It's like, one, he's holding his arm in a weird way that I feel like he's hurting his arm. So he's holding it so he hits his hand. And he runs in the door, but he doesn't actually hit the door. You can see his body kind of stop before the door.
Yeah.
And he kind of falls into it. While if I'm an actor, I don't mean to bring it up for like the third time, but that scene with Christian Bale and the Joker, whenever they're beating each other up, and he's like, beat me up. And Christian Bale's like, okay. And he actually like beat the fuck out of Heath Ledger in that cell. It's like that. It's like, buddy, hit your body into that door.
Yeah, he's a little older. It's true. I see what you're saying.
But
I see what you're saying.
I can
Or get a stunt double. Get a stunt double, and don't show his face. Just show this fucking man rocking this door.
I guess, yeah. I can see what you mean, though. I can see.
There's just a little bit. He's not. He's a little more. He's
dementia. Isn't that what it is?
It's not dementia though. There's. It's like that, but there's There's another word for it that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember exactly, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. Yeah. Because I really like Bruce Willis a lot.
I think he's still alive though, right?
He is still alive. Yeah. But he's definitely retired. He's like doesn't do.
He's yeah. I know his health is gone.
Yeah. So watching this, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. I will say that this is probably the last movie where I'm like, oh, Bruce Willis is a good actor. Like, because he is still pretty good in it, even though he's not really doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
This and Looper are pretty much like, oh, like Looper, I'm like, oh, he could fucking act. I forget how good Bruce Willis is sometimes. When I see Looper, I'm like, he's fucking awesome. But anyway, that's all I got. Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it.
All right, you want to talk about Stephen King movies a little bit more before?
About the only 3 I've seen.
I'm trying to think of any other Stephen King movies.
You know what? Let me Google it while we're here.
All right.
I'm not sure. You're right, though. I really don't know if there's many more.
I know there's a lot of good television series that are like Stephen King adaptations. But like... Oh, I mean, It.
Which I've seen.
Okay.
There's... Night Riders. There's a lot. Creep Show.
Okay, he technically wrote Creep Show, and he starred in
Cat's Eye. I don't even know what that is.
Thinner.
I don't even know what that is. Michael Jackson's Ghosts. Fever Pitch. What?
No, I don't think it's the same Fever Pitch.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is. What the fuck?
With Drew Barrymore and Jimmy Fallon.
Okay, this is what we're going to watch. You ready?
Stuck in Love.
We're going to watch...
Carrie!
Carrie?
Firestarter.
We're going to watch Silver Bullet, and we're going to watch Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, The Green Mile.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie.
We watched that movie
I
already.
can't
Or
believe...
Christine.
I can't believe I forgot about this. One of my favorite Johnny Depp movies ever.
The Secret Window.
Secret Window.
It's a good one.
Oh, what a fucking twist.
Oh, we could just
That ending is amazing. The Mist, I forgot.
Yeah.
The Dark Tower.
Oh, no, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do Christine.
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn. And we're going to do The Dead Zone. Or The Running Man.
We can watch as many. Should we just watch them all?
Yeah, let's just watch them all.
Let's just watch them all. That's fine. Because I think it's...
Needful Things is pretty good. I really like Dreamcatcher. A lot of people don't like it. Oh, no, 1408. I just watched this movie recently.
Oh. Who does it star?
John Cusack.
Every time I think of 1408, I think of that fucking movie, the horror movie with Jim Carrey.
Oh,
It's
the
a
number 23.
Number 23. I really love The Green Mile.
Gerald's Game was really good.
I love. Can I watch Secret Window?
Sure.
I really love that.
We'll watch Secret Window.
What a good twist at the end. And they're like, I know you did it. Like, what a good twist.
Anyway, are we done?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we will
Till next time.
come back soon for
I guess a Stephen King trip.
Stephen King, I guess.
We should wait till like October though, for like Halloween or something. Fuck that.
He must have a movie coming out.
He
has
does.
to.
Mike Flanagan's directing it. So Mike Flanagan's the guy who directed Gerald's Game. He directed something else. Oh, Doctor Sleep. These are all Stephen King adaptations. And then,
Okay.
And then he's directing something else. I don't remember what it is though, but it's coming out too.
Misery, I haven't seen in a few years.
That's
That'd
a
be
great
nice.
movie.
Cujo, I haven't seen since I was a kid.
Me neither, actually.
I don't really remember what it is.
It's a dog.
The Mist. I hated the movie. The ending is the only part that actually saved the movie. The last 4 seconds.
Yeah, Dreamcatcher's really cool. A lot of people don't like the movie. I think it's really interesting.
I have no
It's
idea.
about. It's kind of an alien invasion movie. It's about aliens, but it's not. It's like. It is though.
I'm not a fan of aliens at all. Anything to do with aliens, I don't even fucking pay attention. I don't care. It's so annoying. People are going way too into this.
Yeah, I hear you.
They're like, they're here all the time. I'm like, I fucking doubt that, but okay. I don't fucking know, man. The government is doing. Never mind. I'm just gonna stop talking.
All right.
We'll see you guys next time for
Till next
Stephen
time.
King.
Bye.
Bye.